Welcome back to our educational video series designed to help families properly. Most of you own a car or a property, which means you have insurance. These may be the largest physical assets you might ever own. Larry Hoover joins us today from Lewis Meyer Insurance Brokers to share with us the most common missed discounts on property insurance. So stay tuned. Larry offers a unique service called a policy audit, where he discovers the strengths and weaknesses and presents them in an easy to understand report. If you missed this video, it can be found on the link above. So let's find out about the discounts we missed. Over to you, Larry.
Thanks very much for doing this, Maureen. I appreciate it. And welcome, folks. You're going to hear some things that you may not have heard before. Most common discounts I find now, I do something called a policy audit. So I audit people's policies and I find these things. So these are typical missing discounts that I might see over time. First off, the most common discounts that we know about, and these are the things that are kind of blasted out by the media and so on. So this part's nothing new, but the most common is probably I bundle my car with other properties like a secondary home or cottage. That's your bundled discount that's been around for 20 plus years. The second one, of course, is called claims-free discounts. So if you've not made a claim on your property insurance, usually about 5 years, that is a very common discount that a lot of people enjoy as well too.
So what are some of the examples of missed discounts, Larry?
Very good. Well, we have 5. We're going to cover them very quickly. So number one, what I see is something called a mortgage-free discount. So for some reason, once we paid off our mortgage, we're suddenly more responsible and less of a risk out there. So I've seen discounts as high as 15% per year on your house policy premium. That's really good. Recently, I came across a fellow who paid off his mortgage about 12 years ago, and it still did not show that he was mortgage free. So we did some rough math, let's say at about $1,500 a year times 12 years. He overpaid by about $2,700, and he wasn't happy about that at all. So on the flip side of that, be careful for things such as private mortgages or non-standard mortgages. There are some companies that do not want you as a house insurance customer if that is the case with you. And I just spoke with a colleague, actually a client yesterday. I'm auditing his home policy, and he told me it's a personal mortgage through a family member. So I'm about to give him that bad news there.
Ouch.
Yeah. So number 2, married. Quite often companies, just like car insurance, they're going to give you a little bit of a discount if you're married. Today, that also includes common law, that is 3 years living together with somebody, because things change over time, relationships change over the years and so on. The flip side to that, and again with the mortgage-free question, is that you have to keep your insurance person abreast of these things because things change over time as well too. The third thing I'm going to mention is widow or widower, a little bit of a dark one here, but there are some insurance companies that will continue to retain the married status, and you might get a bit of a discount with that married status. So it's often a good question to make sure that your insurance person knows that there might be a change in your spouse in terms of widow or widower. So you get to keep the discount as well. And again, on the flip side, you have to keep your insurance person aware of this type of thing in terms of widows.
So if I was to replace my furnace, is there any discount on that?
Welcome to bullet number 4. Nice segue. Yeah, so this is mechanicals, and this is a very common thing. Over the years, people will update their roof or their furnace or their hot water tank. And there are more companies, or rather there are more companies giving discounts for something called a tankless water heater. So instead of the standard 5-foot round white drums with 40 gallons of water in it, we're seeing the hot water on demand. So there's a lot less water in that tank. And there are some companies that give you discounts on those things if you update them. Now, they're not very big discounts. So they may go away after 2 or 3 years, but the point is that you're missing out on something, and it's better than a kick in the head. So you have to have that ongoing engagement and interaction with your insurance person. Now, on the flip side to roofs, and I don't understand why insurance companies don't do this, there might be one out there, but I haven't seen one. If you have a metal roof or a non-asphalt shingle roof, they last a lot longer. They don't necessarily get blown away in the wind like asphalt shingles can. So I asked myself, why don't I get a discount for a metal roof? I haven't seen a company that offers one. So shame on them for that. But at any rate, that's something that I pass on there as well too. Um, Finally, I'm going to talk about water mitigation devices. Now, this is becoming a little more popular. The most common insurance claims in Canada are water damage claims, and there's different kinds of water damage claims we spoke of in another video. So there are discounts from a number of companies if you've got a sump pump downstairs in the basement. Usually the round pit in the floor, inside it has a pump that goes chug, 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 chug when it's really wet outside. So look out springtime, because that's one of the wettest times of year when the snow runs off and so on, and we have our heavy rainfalls. But also there's a battery powered sub pump that you can put in the pit right beside the regular sub pump. It's battery powered in case the hydro goes out. Some companies give you an additional discount for that. And finally, what 98% of people have never heard of before is called a backflow valve. So it is a flapper that resides in the sewer backup pipe, which is usually below the cement. And most people don't even know about this unless they've actually had one installed aftermarket. So there's a bit of a discount if you have one of those backflow valves there. So your insurance person should be asking about all of these things. They're not big discounts, but every little bit counts as well too.
So, okay, so this makes sense. So why people are missing these discounts?
I would say the biggest reason is that they're not having ongoing engagement or conversation with their insurance person, Maureen. So when I do an audit review for all of my clients, one of the questions I ask is, when is the last time they proactively pick up the phone and called you, the client, and asked these update, refresh type questions? And I would say at least 95% of the people tell me never. I have to initiate and so on. So there's three entities, I suppose, in a typical insurance policy. There's the insurance company, there is the broker or agent, and then there's you, the client, our viewers today. And so most of us don't know what we don't know. It's called educating. And unfortunately, or fortunately, educating takes time. So before I became a licensed insurance broker, I really didn't know this stuff myself. So there's generally 3 different occasions to learn about this stuff. Number one is when you first sign up with somebody, and they're going to ask you these questions over the phone, and they may email you a quote that's generated from an online quoting tool from the insurance company, and they may walk you through some of those things verbally.
Yeah.
You know what verbal's like, in one ear out the other, we forget. The second time that you may initiate this is when you call them to make changes about something, and then or you may tell them you're not happy with your price increase, and that's when you might have an opportunity to hear some of these things. And finally is when you receive your renewal in the mail, like all of us do every year, either Canada Post or online, you may see coverage changes, let's say on page 6 on the back. So how many of us read that? Not very many of us read that.
No,
so that's why it's important to have these regular, every year or two, a phone call to update these things and to tell you about new things that come out that you should know about.
Okay. So what's the next step if somebody wants a policy review?
Well, very good. It's quite simple. There's a couple of steps to it. Number one, you send me your last renewal that you had. I don't care if it's 3 weeks old or 11 months old, and show me the pages that show your coverages and what you're paying. On the car insurance side, same thing, but it also show me the details of the drivers. Step 2 is we arrange to have a call where I ask you some boring questions about all that stuff. And step 3 is the most interesting part, where we walk you through your quote, review, report line by line, and you're going to see red lines that you need to get fixed. So that's the glory part of the 3 steps. So it's pretty quite simple.
So what's the next step if somebody isn't sure yet, but wants to learn more?
Great question. So often this is first-time home buyers, so you don't have to send me anything. We go over the questions about your property, and I will present it in exactly the same detail and format that I would on a spreadsheet if I were doing an audit for you.
How can people reach you, Larry?
Excellent. Well, I understand that the email that was sent to our viewers includes my cell number at 705-796-3299. Also, my email address. Look in your junk folder because this one's a little different.
Oh,
It's
no,
Larry.
not junk.
I know, technology. It's Larry at policyreviews with an S on the end .ca. So either way, we'll connect and we'll go from there.
All right. Thanks, Larry. And thanks again for watching How to Better Protect Your Family. Why not share this video with others? If you wish to schedule a 15-minute chat with Larry, you can find his calendar in the link below. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe to ensure you don't miss any future tips.